World leaders speaking for the second day at the United Nations General Assembly. And on the agenda today, a controversial firearms treaty signed by Secretary of State John Kerry. Opponents worried it could have a chilling effect on our gun rights in our own country. Eric Sean joins us live from outside the UN with more. Hello, Eric.
Hi, Shannon. Well, supporters say this measure will stop the illegal trafficking in weapons, but critics call it global gun control. And here at the United Nations this morning, Secretary of State John Kerry did sign the United Nations Arms Trade Treaty. You know, it's been a very controversial measure since it was first proposed and the Obama administration signed on to it. It is aimed at trying to stop the flow of small and illegal weapons that have flooded hotspots and conflict zones across the globe, specifically in Africa. It calls for imposing national export controls on the trade of small arms and weapons. In signing the treaty, the Secretary of State addressed American concerns that it would violate potentially the Second Amendment or impinge on American sovereignty and gun rights. Mr. Kerry said it will not do that at all. It will not affect U.S. law in that way, and it will not affect gun possession, just that it imposes standards on other governments to make the world safer.
This is about keeping weapons out of the hands of terrorists and rogue actors. This is about reducing the risk of international transfers of conventional arms that will be used to carry out the world's worst crimes. This is about keeping Americans.
Opponents blasted. The NRA says, quote, the Obama administration is once again demonstrating its contempt for our fundamental individual right to keep and bear arms. This treaty threatens individual firearm ownership with an invasive registration scheme. Others say it won't work.
It's in effect going to influence only the law-abiding, because only the law-abiding are going to uphold the treaty. And that means that places like the United States are going to be affected far more by it than places like Syria or Iran.
And it will likely not be ratified by the Senate. A majority of members of the Senate oppose it. Shannon, back to you.
All right, Eric, we're going to debate that a little bit later on, what it really means. Thank you for your reports.